Hello, everybody out there in TikTok land, Facebook world, YouTube, everywhere there's going to be a live clip, or like right now, we are live on Facebook and we are live on TikTok at the same time. Once I get my software streaming the way I want it to, we'll be going live in multiple places, and that's what we look forward to the most. But what we really look forward to is being here with all of you that are showing up for the show. And welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. I am Monty Anderson, your host here at 412 Productions, the art of Monty Anderson. And today we're talking about spooky season. Welcome to Spookyville. Because, Halloween is just right around the corner. And, we all look forward to that. Well, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people look forward to spooky season. They've already been decorating for Halloween since last month, and you go from there. And so most people enjoy the spooky season all year round, and that's how they live life, watching horror movies 24/7. Like Mr. Roy Joe Twinkle Toes Sparkle Butt Bradley Twilight Lover Jr. watches those sparkly butted vampires out there in Twilight. That's what he likes to do. Well, good morning, Mr. Roy Joe Bradley Jr. Sorry about your team last night. They got demolished. Don't know what else to say about that. They looked like the Little League team last night, like they'd never played football before. So, what did you ask right there? Yeah, I got to switch it over. I got to do the mirror mode off. Thanks, man, with my brisk fruit punch. So, welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. We are talking about spooky season. What's your favorite part of spooky season? What do you love the most? I love watching the trees change. From that bright greens to all the different colors in it. You go out and you watch all the fall colors happening all over the place. And it just makes for a cool drive, especially through the Ozarks. You know, it's very, very cool. Don't forget to like, share, and follow. And you can also go up here, bum, 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 and you can get in there and you can follow my other social media accounts, which is Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and you're here on TikTok with us right now. And if you're not following, please do so, because I do try to follow back. I go through and do a big purge of people that don't support me in any way, shape, or form that I have followed in the past, and I do a huge purge. And those that follow me, I leave, and those type things, I leave alone. But welcome to the show, everybody. Again, we are talking about spooky season. We are talking about Halloween time. We talk movies, horror movies, sci-fi movies, um, all kinds of different things here, especially in the comic book realm. So I'm always awake there, Kara. You should know this. We've been friends for a while, my friend, and I'm usually awake anywhere between 1 o'clock in the morning to 4 o'clock in the morning. It doesn't matter. I don't sleep much. My sleep apnea machine says sometimes I only get about 3 hours of sleep a night. So there you go. But yes, so it is spooky season. People are gearing up for it. All the witches out there are doing their thing. So guys, if you do get picked up by a really, really good-looking woman, be careful, because it is that schmacrifice season uh, out there for them witches. So be careful. Uh, just a word of warning for you guys out there. I've been watching a lot of witch movies here lately. The Craft, of course. I'm gonna rewatch The Craft. I haven't watched it this time. I watched a couple of one called Witchcraft. I watched The Coven. It was a pretty decent one. Actually, it was filmed in Oklahoma, so And you know, it is. It was a very interesting. I mean, it wasn't. I can't say it was low budget because I don't know what the budget on it was, but it was filmed in Oklahoma. They also filmed some small scenes in Los Angeles, but uh, it was one of those things that the effects were pretty decent. So Dracula, a love story. Hopefully not a live story, but a love story. I saw that on your post the other day, and what year was that one made, Kara? Was that one a more recent one? Oh, this year, 2025. Okay, I hadn't heard about that one until I saw it pop up on your post, and you said it pulled at your heartstrings. So it was just like, well, if it pulls at your heartstrings, that's not a good vampire movie. It's supposed to be blood, guts, gore, and more. All that good stuff. But no, that's cool. Uh, everybody likes what they like when it comes to different movies and things like that, especially in the horror movie realm. And I the bloodier the better. And I can't say that the Coven was really bloody or anything like that, but you can tell it was a low budget for the most part, if it had a budget at all. Um, and you get a lot of creators out there that work on a no budget uh, instance until they start making some money from people watching it online and the stream views and all that stuff. Um, but there are some that try to build a budget for their movies, and yeah, they're still low budget, especially the more local producers and things like that. But when it comes down to it, a movie is a movie, and if you've got it out there and under your belt, hey, more power to you. I mean, I haven't even got my comic book out there yet. Yes, I've got comic book covers and things like that. Um, one's in a horror comic book, Psycho Sal, number three. The Job isn't quite a horror magazine or horror comic book, but it's sitting right here. It's in my hands, comic book right there. So yes, I know we know Roy. Halloween with Michael Myers is the best series movies out there. No, not really. A Nightmare on Elm Street is better than Halloween. I said what I said, and I will continue to say that. So there you go. But Hellraiser is better than Halloween. But no, like I said, we all like our own horror genre of movies that we enjoy, and Halloween is a good one, and I like it too. But if I rank my top horror franchises, the ones that have had sequels, yes, I know that's what you think, buddy girl. I get it. And if I had to rank my Halloween or my franchises for horror movies, you know, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Hellraiser, because these have continuations. Friday the 13th, Halloween, um, Aliens is in there, you know, because it's sci-fi horror, so all that good stuff. But what is your go-to when it comes to your spooky season, your Halloween time? You know, a lot of people say, "Oh, The Crow is a horror movie." No, it's not. It's a tragic love story based on events that happened in James Labar's life. So, and and it's why I did an homage to him. His work over here, which I redrew a piece of his artwork right there, and then the rest is mine based off the Brandon Lee The Crow. You know, 1994 smash hit, and much better than that 2024 crap that they put out using the same names. Again, had they used two different names, it could have been a standalone story on its own, and I could have got past it. But all in all, I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the fact that they used Eric and Shelley in the movie, trying to make a reboot of it. But they said it wasn't really a reboot, it was just a reimagining. No, that's called a reboot. How about Jeepers Creepers? Really good scary movies, except for Reborn. Reborn sucked. Uh, I don't even think I actually finished it. Um, Jeepers Creeper stuff is pretty good. Pumpkinhead. Uh, you got Terrifier with all the different movies there. Uh, Ninth Gate and trying to think of what the other one was. All Hallows Eve, I believe, is what the other one was before Terrifier, and then Terrifier 2, Terrifier 3, and then they're working on Terrifier 4. So you got House of a Thousand Corpses. Any of the Rob Zombie films that involve death, destruction, and horror in that realm. I watched an animated cartoon of his, Rob Zombie's. I can't remember the name of it right off the top of my head, but it was filled with a lot of schmecks and blood, guts. What's up, Casey? Welcome to the broadcast booth. Hi, Casey. Welcome to the broadcast booth. And so it was humorous and it was bloody, and it was just fun all the way around. And so if you haven't seen it, I can't remember I can't remember what the name of it is right off the top of my head. But you just look up Rob Zombie cartoon or comic, or well, I guess it would be a cartoon, animated movie, and it was pretty fun little ride. But now I've just been watching off the wall horror movies as I do my artwork. I just throw them on in the background, listen to them, and glance over at them from time to time whenever I'm inking horror type stuff. Right here, the amalgam going on right here with the Dreki and the Wolver from God of War. So those of you that play video games, there you go. There's your video game segment. And then I'll be inking up, whoops, my spit cover. I'm going to be inking up my Blade Runner and Kingdom Hearts, so another game reference with a old movie reference. Right here, this amalgam mashup where Sora is fighting the replicants from Blade Runner's world, and then Deckard is fighting the darkness from the Kingdom Hearts world. And then I've got one more to do on that. I've got a painting that I'm getting ready to do for a memorial for a pet. No, I haven't seen anything about a new Halloween movie coming out. Most of the time that you do see something, you need to do some full research, because they said that there was going to be one called Fred come out, directed by Rob Zombie, which was a fan fiction made up advertisement. You also get a lot of AI generated movie trailers for movies out there that say, oh yeah, this is getting ready to happen, and people fool a lot of people with these things. That's why AI needs to be banned. And yes, that means your little lawnmower out there, Kara, would be banned as well, since it goes out there and mows the lawn for you. I still like the sweat of the brow, riding lawnmower or push lawnmower. We saw Rob Zombie with Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper was a much better show. Rob Zombie was just a whole bunch of chanting Rob or zombie, zombie, zombie. It was just like, shut up, dude, just sing your song. And then he would get to a point where he wouldn't even sing most of his song. He would just hold his mic to the audience and let the audience sing. And it was just like, dude, come on. I mean, it was a good show all the way around when it came down to it. But Alice Cooper was the much better set. He sounds a lot of things when he's on stage. And I'm not saying that he's not, but I'm not saying that he is either. Because most of your professionals nowadays have all, you know, cleaned up their act. And, now they're into getting fat and sassy, if you will. Yes, he did the whole guillotine thing. No, he didn't hang himself. He did the whole guillotine with his wife out there, and she was a part of the show, and that was pretty cool. Um, he had the straight jacket on for a whole bunch of his stuff. So yeah, his wife lopped his head off at the show. It was quite cool. Yes, he is a Christian. He still does everything that he used to do, except for the drugs, the alcohol, the women, um, and he still does all of his same songs. He doesn't change a thing. But yes, he is a Christian, and he'll let you know about it. You know, I get a an email from his organization, Fridays with Alice, and he talks about all the aspects, and he talks about the songs before he became, you know, a Christian and all that stuff. And so, there you go. Um, let's see. Back to the whole. What do you guys like to do for spooky season? You know, what is it that makes spooky season great for you? Oh, geez. I couldn't tell you what his real name is right off the top of my head. I know I've heard it a million times. What, my haunted house? Or just haunted houses in general? We went to a haunted house. It was the haunted warehouse in Fort Smith last year or the year before. And I'm not going to lie, kind of sucked. Um, and it was very predictable, even though they told you a little story about the little girl that isn't part of their show, but she will lead you to different spots in the warehouse, and many people have seen her, and yada yada yada. We didn't see her, but you know, it just felt really rushed, you know. Um, you get some haunted houses and warehouses and things like that don't feel as rushed, but this one just felt like they were basically pushing you to the next spot, pushing you to the next spot, pushing you to the next spot, and you didn't have a chance to take it all in, you know. And I know that's what they wanted because they've got more people coming in, and which that wasn't the case when we got there. There was a small group ahead of us, and then there was the girlfriend and I, and that was it. You know, there wasn't other people coming up behind us or anything like that. And then they're very predictable at the very end that you see in all the videos and stuff like that. Here comes the clown with the chainsaw trying to chase you down the alleyway to finish it all off. And I'm like, I turned back and said, dude, don't expect me to run. He was like, have a good day. I was like, you too. He was good in character and all that stuff, but Haunted Mansion in Disneyland was cool in '72. Yeah, I don't think it's the same now. I mean, I've been in it, um, and it was just like, eh. Of course, I was older then. I was in my 40s whenever I visited it then, so you know, I'm sure it was much cooler in '72 because you would have been what, about 8 years old, 9 years old at that point in time, maybe a little younger than that. So, but welcome to the broadcast booth, everybody. We are talking about spooky season. It was cool, and I was 8, so I was close. I was close. I was right there. And we're talking about the spooky season and what you like about the spooky season and what you do to gear up for spooky season. Like us, I want to do a whole bunch of stuff out in the front yard eventually. I haven't done that yet. Ah, the trick or treat candy. Yes. Do you still go out and trick or treat? Because I know there's a lot of adults that go out and trick or treating, um, because they want the candy too. Um, Office parties gear up. You know, some companies still do the whole office party stuff where they dress up and have their Halloween parties and things like that. I go to the store. So you dress up as a Walmart shopper and go trick or treating inside of Walmart. I get it. No, it's all good. That's how most adults do their trick or treating nowadays. There you go. As is most people that go into Walmart nowadays. If they're wearing that, we'll leave that alone. So that's a whole different subject. Um, but yeah, no, it's all fine and dandy. If you want some horror help, if you want some horror in your life, pick up Heavy Metal Magazine. There's a lot of horror and sci-fi in there. You can get this one right here, Vampirus Carmilla. This one is all about a vampire, female vampire. And this is number 28. And I can go back and order the rest of them if I really want to. But there is 7 different stories inside here. And then you've got your independent little stuff from different readers and things like that that they put in here as well. The blood letters is what they call it. But it's very cool. I mean, they've got like the Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein right off the bat. And then you got the Witching Tree, which is the Carmilla story. And I love the artwork, the black and white stuff. And that's why I picked these up whenever I pick them up, is because of the black and white. Because this is what my comic book is going to look like on the inside. You know, it's going to have the full color covers, front and back. But then on the inside, it's going to have your black and white artwork. You know, and that's why I picked these up, because this is reminiscent of what I'm looking for. You know, what I'm wanting to do right here with my own book. And Casey, I do have one of your books autographed right here. I got to still dig out the other one. So my apologies that I haven't got that done yet. So up north, they decorate Halloween in their yard more than south, I have found. Yeah, there's a house, and I'm not sure if they're doing it this year, but they might. Have to go drive by that section and see. But there's a house in Fort Smith that goes above and beyond. They've got life size um, figures and lights, and they put a hearse out there, blaring music from a radio station, and it sits in their yard. And they've got flashing lights and all that stuff, but they've got a whole display of figures. And they did have a big pirate boat, or part of a pirate boat out there. You know, it sits on the corner of Cliff Drive and Greenwood, I believe, is the street that it's on. I could be wrong, but it's always very cool because they've got animatronics, and they've got, you know, stills, and they've got, you know, just this, that, and the other. And they usually decorate. They go all out in decorating for the holiday seasons, you know. And if you want to look at it this way, the Turtles were a horror comic book in the beginning. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, yes, I know, those beloved little turtle guys that everybody loves. They started out as a more macabre group of turtles. There was a bloody comic book. It was not made for kids, period. As there was a lot of hacking and slashing and blood flying everywhere. And you're currently in Montreal. Very cool. Montreal. Is it cool up there right now? In Montreal? Or is it down there in the south? It is here. Well, it's 63 degrees here. So it's comfortable weather. It's almost fireplace time, fire pit time. Low 40s, nice. So see, right there would be fireplace time, or a fire pit time. You know, with your for you a cup of coffee. Me it would be hot chocolate outside, and that's the point that where this real spooky season stuff starts to hit because that crisp fall air is there, and then every crunch of the leaves and of the twigs. Could it be danger lurking behind you? Who knows? Don't turn around. There may be something behind you. That was a great Halloween horror record that I had. Um, Sounds of Halloween or Sounds of Horror or something like that. It was a great record. I love the Halloween flavors, all the food, not just candy. Well, that's nice. I mean, it is pumpkin spice season as well. So everybody's getting their pumpkin spice lattes and their pumpkin spice donuts and their pumpkin spice this and their pumpkin spice aftershave and their pumpkin spice deodorant, all that good stuff. And then your apple cider and cinnamon and all that goody good stuff that's happening. But yes, now everything right now is pumpkin spice, this, that, or the other. And then you've got all your other stuff that goes in there as well, like your apple pies and your cinnamon stuff and all that good stuff. And that's what's hitting the market right now, and it has for the past month. You know, just so they can get ready for the spooky season, as they call it fall here in most of the world. But we call it spooky season here, just because again, I do live in a haunted house. For those of you that have joined and haven't watched the show before and have stuck around this long, I do live in a haunted house. We do get bumps and knocks and poltergeist type activity on a regular basis around here. Um, we brought in our uh, divining rods or our dowsing rods, if you will, just to get some get some answers in the house. And she's made connection. They don't like me for whatever reason. Mine won't work for me. I still am and in the process of connecting with mine. A lot of people don't believe in them in the divining rods and the dowsing rods, but many people swear by them. And if done right, they really do work. Uh, she can ask questions of hers and get answers, and I can't with mine because I have antagonized, I have provoked, and I have apologized to them for it. Um, just because I am that guy, I will provoke the spirit to get a response, and you know that's where I want to see the whole stuff fly off the walls. I want to see action figures fly behind me, those type things. I did get my hologram to work. I do not have it set up behind me just yet, just because I'm still tinkering with it. I don't like what it's done to my logo in there, and so I'm wanting to see if I can get it to do it a different way. But I will work on that and go from there. So, but I do have it up and running with my logo on it. It just doesn't do what it shows me it can do with everything else, even in the app. So I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research on it to get it to do what I want it to do, and go from there with it. So back to the turtles being a bloody horror comic book in the beginning. Um, right here, you can see the original turtles right there on the top. How they all had the red masks. Well, why did they have red masks? Because it was a black and white comic book. And they had the red mask because that's the color they wanted to use. They were undistinguishable as they were, other than their weapons. So they all still had their names. They all still had their weapons, but you couldn't tell each one apart if they had their weapons put away or had them out of their hands or whatever, and they weren't in their on their shelf, you know, with their spots and things like that where they hold them in their on their straps and their shells. Um, it wasn't until the '90s that they got the color coordination of the orange, the red, the blue, and the purple. And you know, this is pretty cool. Little guitar. This was the girlfriend's. This is still the girlfriend's guitar. This is the guitar she had. I don't want to hit my ceiling fan up there. And she loves Michelangelo, so that's why we have the nunchucks back here on a turtle shell. And so each side, you got Turtle Power. You got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Up here, you've got, of course, Splinter. And on the back side, you've got Shredder right there. So, this was a huge piece right here. We're going to start taking this to shows. And she's going to start getting the turtle guys to autograph this when she's there. But, they were a horror comic book in the beginning. And I can't really say a horror comic book. But, it was very bloody. It was very not kid friendly. But kids started liking it in the later years of the Turtles, in the late 80s and early 90s. And so that's when they started making changes to make it a little more kid friendly. Now, some of the comic books are still bloody and gory and stuff like that. But the animated series and things like that all went kid friendly. And then, of course, the colors came into play. And so there went that aspect of the black and white with the red bandanas, uh, you know, the red face coverings and the belts and all that good stuff. It all color coordinated with each uh, weapon, you know. And everybody knows that they were based off of the artist of the day, uh, that Kevin Eastman and Laird uh, enjoyed. And that's how they got their names. So, Michelangelo, Leonardo, Raphael, and so on and so forth. And the rest is history with them. I mean, they're a multi-billion-dollar franchise, with all the toys, all the comic books, all the movies, all the animated stuff, the cartoons, I like Halloween costume stores that show up only, like Spirit Halloween that pops up right at spooky season instead of the year-round Halloween stores. I mean, Spirit Halloween needs a permanent setup. Um, to be honest, I mean, they don't need to just be here just during the spooky season, you know, because if they were set up year-round, oh yeah, the smell of the plastics and all that stuff, the rubber and all that stuff, the different smells. It's kind of like walking into an old bookstore, like we've talked about before. The different smells. You get the new books as opposed to the musty old smell of the old books. Yes, yes, it's a complete different smell. And yes, it could be a little different if they're permanently set up. You know, yes, definitely. Especially those old suffocating masks that you would put on that had the strap going around your head, and it was just a solid plastic mask that would be pressed up against your face. Most of them sometimes didn't have the air hole with the mouth, and you were sucking air through the eye holes, so it was making you cry, especially that crisp autumn air. Yes, 100%. And then those plastic costumes that would rip real easily down the seam. So hot and sweaty. Yep, 100%. but the good old days, and they do have some action figures that they've just came out. NECA or Mego have them. They're in the electronics section of Walmart, and back in electronics section of Target as well. But they have the old plastic mask costumes on action figures. They've got a whole set of them, from Frankenstein, Wolfman. I think they've got the Bride of Frankenstein and Creature from the Black Lagoon, and those old masks and Dracula and things like that. And then they also have the old Batman mask with the Adam West look, the early Batman stuff, and things like that. But those are pretty cool. But I just can't justify $20 an action figure, you know, when it comes down to it. And so that's why I haven't pulled the trigger on those, just because they're very cool looking. And action figures nowadays, if you don't get them right off the shelf, you're going to be paying an arm and a leg for them anyway. So back to the spooktacular. So, what is one tradition that you held up as a that you had as a kid that you still do as an adult when it comes to spooky season? Besides the candy, Casey. Besides the candy. I think I'm going to uphold a little tradition from now on. I'm going to start getting a little bit more ghost hunting equipment and go from there. Um, because I want to delve into that realm. Because, like I said, I do have it here. Costumes now are so realistic compared to when we were kids. Oh yeah, 100%. Um, the sculpts are a lot better. The material is a lot better. Even some of the prosthetics and things like that you can put on your face or create your face, just like in the late '90s, I think it was '96, somewhere in that range. They started doing these foam rubber masks. And, oh yeah, TGNY specials, 100%. They started doing these foam rubber masks, and I got one that was of the devil, and um, and wore it. Yeah, I've still got some pictures running around here somewhere. I'd have to dig those out. I don't even know where they're in a box somewhere. I have to dig that box out and start going through those. Um, be right back. Coffee. That poo water makes you go poo. That X-Lax water. And I had my hair uh, with that spray stuff, that hairspray that you get in the cosmetic, or not cosmetic section, but the Halloween section at the time. Had my hair sprayed black with that stuff. Had a ponytail because I had the long hair still. Had red face makeup everywhere on top of this sculpt and all that good stuff. This foam rubber sculpt, and then I had the spirit gum, going around where because it was a two-piece set. It had the upper face portion with the horns, and then it had a chin section. So so you could see kind of where it was at with the spirit gum, and but it adhered to the face well because I didn't have a bunch of facial hair at the time. At that point in time, and so once you got all that red face makeup on, to go with it down your neck, down your hands, had the black nails in there with the nice long points, and things like that. Had a big red cape, with this big fire looking emblem coming up off the neck, and it was pretty cool. So it was a lot better quality than just the plastic mask, you know. And the wife at the time was the hellhound, so she had thing around her neck, a collar around her neck, and she had a well, I guess a hellcat is what she was because it was a cat costume that she was wearing. And so, there was that back in the day. I wish I had that picture right now, right in front of us. Um, that way I could show you all what I looked like, you and it was quite interesting, that foam rubber uh, masks that they had, because they had different ones. They had a skull, they had a devil, they had a witch. Um, What else did they have? I'm trying to think what else they had. But they had a lot of different ones back in the day. And it was very, very cool for that because it was completely different than just a mask you just slipped over your head, you know. And it was, it seemed more real at that point in time than just that rubberized mask over your head. And even some of the masks they have now, they're slight animated or animatronic because they've got opening and closing mouths and things like that. Uh, but we did go into Spirit Halloween the other day. It's been a little bit ago, and we were hitting all the little buttons on the floor that you stomp on. And there was one of a scarecrow esque type, and you see it in the TikTok videos and reels and things like that. That we hit it. It starts saying its little speech, and the girlfriend gets really close to it. I know what's going to happen. And she gets really close to it, and about that time, it shoots up. She almost hits the floor. She lets out a little girly scream, and if you're watching, dear, it was a little girly scream, and she about peed herself right there. We laughed about it. It was good times. It was funny, but yeah, that was fun. And you see a lot of those videos where people do hit the floor, especially the little kids, even some of the adults that let out their little screams and stuff like that. My sister and I were little. We would go to the Nichols Hills and trick it. Nichols Hills was the place to go. That's where all the rich people hung out. So you got the good candy. The full size bars? What the hell is this? I'm used to the stuff that's packaged in the small thing. Yeah, Nichols Hills was the place to go. Oh yeah, from the mansions. I mean, a lot of rich people still live there in Nichols Hills, even though that's not the most desired place to live in Oklahoma City anymore. You know, they used to have that stupid law. Oh yeah, good folks. They used to have that stupid law that if you had your truck out in the driveway, you would get a fine. So it always had to be in the garage. So, as the Nichols Hills Police, yes, they've got. That's what I was going to say. They've got their own police department. That's just to keep the riffraff out. You know, all the unwelcome undesirables. The scourge of the earth cannot go into Nichols Hills. But now you got your gated communities and things of that nature to keep people out. Reminds me of the old song. I keep Mother Nature in. Signs, signs, everywhere there's signs. Yes, Bethany Nazarene. Yes. Home of SNU, Southern Nazarene University. It took over most of Bethany because they took over our old school. Our school became combined Bethany High School, um, combined with Bethany Middle School and elementary. They created one big building. SNU moved into our old high school and redid it. And we just moved a block back to where the middle school was at the time with the track, and they destroyed the track and expanded the school. They basically rebuilt the school. I haven't been inside the school since they've redone it all, and I need to just to go check things out, see what all is going on there now. They just had a mini reunion here just this weekend that I totally forgot about, or I might have tried to go, but we had a lot of stuff going on this weekend. So, just like we're going to have a lot of stuff going on next weekend as well. On that same token, we're going to be trying to go and hit another mine, crystal mine, get some more crystals to, you know, gather in all that power into the crystals, you know, and not the dark crystal, with that one little shard that they're trying to get back into the crystal to bring everybody back together. Because when the shard split from the crystal, it made your two factions. Great show. Great show. Just like Labyrinth and Dark Crystal and I mean the list goes on and on of old shows that were great. You know, that had that touch of a horror feel to them, but not completely. Oh yeah, Halloween movies and shows on 24. They're basically on 24/7 here. What I was talking about at the beginning of the show is I throw them on, especially the older stuff. You know, this 1970s stuff, the Hammer horror films, a lot of vampires and a lot of schmexual situations because that's what they thought it was all about back in those days. Whenever they made movies in the 70s and early 80s, when it came to the vampire movies and zombie movies and things like that, because every other scene is basically some kind of a uh, adult scene, if you will, and then death and destruction. So, you know, Salem's, yes, the Salem witch trials, which didn't last very long, to be honest. Um, as I've done a lot more research, you know, it only lasted like a week. um, but in that time frame, or a few days, I can't remember the exact time frame, but it's a very short run of time for the Salem witch trials. It was from fungus and bread. Well, it's just like Disteria, you know, that they had back in the day. Um, but that was the sad thing that women could be, you know, burned at the stake or sent to insane asylums because of different situations, you know. And everybody at the time thought it was okay. It's not okay, you know. And so it is what it is with that, and that's just our time frame as history calls it, you know. And there's a lot of things towards, you know, different groups of people that wasn't ever right, you know. Yes, there was a lot of things, you know, that would happen to people, you know, that would could be labeled as a witch, you know. Looking at a man too long, you're a witch. You're trying to cast a spell on me. Oh, you spoke out, you're a witch. You know, all that type of stuff. And it's just like everything was so misunderstood when it came down to different things in history and things that never should have happened, but they did, you know. And a lot of things, you know, ended people's existence just because of stupidity. Just let's just call it what it is. Or was that from Wonder Bread? Halloween started when uh, Wonder Roots All Hallows Eve. But yeah, the history of Halloween, if you've never been into it, is quite interesting when you research it and how it started. It's just like Christmas and how it all started, you know. And I'm not talking about the religious aspect of it. I'm talking about the glamorized portion of it, you know. And you know, you read about all the different histories and all of the different holidays, you know. Yes, pagan pagan rituals and pagan stuff on all sides. And it's just like Valentine's Day, you know. And, oh, since we're in the spooky season, let's take the old beloved stories that you love, like Snow White and Cinderella and Little Mermaid and things of that nature. If you actually go and read the actual stories that these were based off of, that Disney based all this off of, it was not kind stories at all. It was actually more horror stories than anything else. And how they twisted it into this heartfelt love stories with, the stalker in the woods kissing a girl who's in a glass coffin, you know, all that good stuff. There's certain things of Disney that I can't stand. I don't watch hardly any of their movies anymore. The girlfriend wants me to watch Moana, and I'm just like, I can't get into it. I'm sorry. Um, but she wants me to watch it. Some of the stuff that I like is like Sword in the Stone. You know, um, basically your Excalibur, if you will. And because it's got the dragon aspect, it's got the witch and the warlock and the wizard and all that stuff. Yes, the old Disney stuff is a lot better than the new stuff that they're pumping out now, especially in the live action stuff. The live action stuff can just go away. I'm sorry, but I said what I said, and yes, Disneyland, Disney World, all those are were fun to go to. Trying to remember which one I actually went to. So I was still active military or active duty military at the time, and so we got in for it was either I'm pretty sure it was free um, to get in, and then I found out I could have got into the MGM Marvel side of it, and it was just like, damn, I should have went there instead. No, mine was in Florida. Was it Florida? Pretty sure it was Florida. Yeah, Disney World. So it wasn't Disneyland; it was Disney World. I know they're different on their aspects, even though they've got a lot of the same stuff. They're still different. So, but it was a lot of fun, and to go in for free was even better. You know, um, just like for us military types, we can get into a lot of the national places for free or a very discounted rate, which is good. I don't knock that, but some places are letting active duty members in for free, on a regular basis, or get free passes to different like Silver Dollar City, I believe, is giving free passes to active duty military for the season, for a season, those type things. Which kudos to them, all that goody good stuff. So, but yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that happens when you're a veteran or active duty military. But but yeah, just remember all of your beloved Disney stories started out as a horror story. Go read your Grimm fairy tales and go back and read all of the origins, the actual stories, you know, uh, that created these love stories in Disneyland, Disney's mind. I like the mall and Halloween and watch the kids trick or treat. And at churches, they do the trunk or treat. Yes, yes, it's very cool, and it's becoming a thing of the past. Um, because now parents only anymore that I've seen, and I hear, and when I worked at Walmart, I heard it all the time. We only take our kids to people that we know. That's the only houses we trick or treat or we'll go to the mall, or uh, like in Shawnee, they had a downtown section where kids could go trick or treating downtown, and all the businesses would stay open late, and hand out Halloween candy to the kiddos. And they did a big parade and things like that as well. But a lot of that stuff you just don't see anymore because people are too worried, you know, because you hear about all the horror stories of glass in this or razor blades in that, or you know, it's all the urban legends and the folklore that you hear over time. Now I won't go to the mall at all, but I'm up north. Here, no one knows their neighbors like there. Yeah, no, exactly. I know my neighbors to both sides. Now, beyond that, I only know them by reputation, you know, um, and it's not good reputations. So, so I've got a house next to me that has my friends over here that just had their baby. Then the next house after that, which is a block away, they're renting that spot. Only know them by seeing them. Don't know them. Don't know their names. All that good stuff. Then the very next house is the drug house, is what everybody calls it. And then after that is a rental property or a property that's up for sale that sits on about 4 acres of land, which is just like, well, let me sell this place and go buy that one, and move everything over there. But then it'd be like, no, then I'm too close to them, blah blah blah. And so they trick or treat in hordes up here. Well, I mean, they still kind of do in certain areas here because during Halloween time you still have to watch how you're driving and all that stuff. In Shawnee, there would be trick or treaters up and down the streets like crazy in hordes, like you said, like little walking zombies. You know, um, The Walking Dead going up and down the streets, um, all that good stuff. And but anymore, a lot of parents don't even let their kids trick or treat. They just buy their trick or treat candy and like, here you go, have at it. And but I mean, you do get the ones that still, like I said, go to the people that they know. They'll go to the houses that they know. Bars go all out. Yeah, the pub crawls. I think they call it the zombie crawl at that point in time, because everybody looks like zombies coming out of there. Oh, looky there! Thank you, puzzle piece. Um, and it's like they come walking out. Oh, I need more drink. You know. So yes, most bars do go all out. Some, like I said, like I was saying, some businesses still do the whole Halloween parties. They still do, bring your kids up here. Walmart used to let trick or treaters in, and used to do trick or treating inside Walmart, but I haven't seen that in a long time either. So, um, but yeah, no, it's times they are changing. That comes from The Watchmen. If you haven't seen that movie, yeah, they've stopped a lot of stuff in different places, especially inside of the stores and things like that, which is kind of sad. But and but it is what it is, and people get it for the most part, but they still like their old traditions. Oh, well, we used to go to this place, we used to go to this place, but now we can't go to this place or this place because they don't do that anymore. You know, and spooky season, it is a changing. You know, but you still get those that go all out, including adults. Um, and like we just talked about, all the masks have changed to more realism. Uh, a lot of foam rubber instead of just rubber now because it holds up a little better, looks better. It doesn't deform or cave in on one side, those type things. And unless that's the look it's going for, but You know, you don't want your vampire mask to be like, "Hey guys, look at me. Hey guys." you know. I don't know. I do have an outfit um, for my main character in my comic book, um, but I haven't decided if I'm going to yet or not. I still need some elements to it, so I'm still looking and hunting some things down, and and you're gonna scare all the kids with that mask. Just saying. Um, just don't be sniffing, okay? Don't be sniffing. Wasn't be prudent. No, it wasn't. Um, and so I'm debating because I still need to get some elements to this outfit. It's technically a cosplay, if you will, of my own character. Uh, that's actually a great place to go trick or treating is at the old folks home, you know, because they still do get their candies out there. They still do get their candies. Yeah, they definitely get their candies out there. Hoo-wee! Yes, they do. Yeah, shoot 'em. But no. So I'm not sure yet if I'm going to or not. And like I said, I do have my starts to it. Now, there's a lot of things that I really want to do, and that's get into some leather crafting, so I can make some elements of my own self for this outfit. And that's not something that I've been into, you know. The girlfriend has done some leather crafting, not a whole bunch, but she's done a little bit. And I need to get that soft, supple leather and things of that nature, and go from there with it. I don't know why you had cat faces there, whiskey. It's not anything on my side. You're the one that put those in there. You tell us why they're cat faces. I'm so confused then. But I'm a real boy. Yeah, I don't know, man. Whiskey Diesel, I don't know. But I'm glad you're here, interacting with the broadcast. We're talking about the spooky season, buddy. I am a real boy, and we weren't saying you were, you know, or weren't. But we don't know why you put the meowing emojis out there. So, but we are talking about spooky season, Halloween, all that goody good stuff. What is the tradition that you have that you had from a kid that you still do now, or that you had as a kid that you don't do now? You know, I used to trick or treat. I don't do that anymore. I just hoard the kids' candy. You know, ah, I I didn't. I don't know how to make them. I got you. Uh, I was thinking Pinocchio. Uh, got no strings to hold me down. You know, I got no strings on me. But Peter Pan is the Lost Boys. You know, not the Lost Boys as far as David and Michael and all that stuff, but Pinocchio, another horror story, if you will, if you go back and read the original story that it was based off of. But yes, Pinocchio, the wooden puppet that turns into a real boy later on. After many, many lies, and he had to cut his nose off a couple times, you know, whenever it started to branch out and create a tree off of his nose from all the lies he would tell. And that's how people could tell he lied. So, but yeah, let's see. Spider webs. I've gotten good at them. Awesome. Now, I get spider webs in my house too, and it's just because I didn't dust that week or whatever. and so I get really good at the spider webs here. And not to mention it's an old haunted house anyway, so that just adds more flair to the season. I actually took a big ass cobweb off my ceiling yesterday, as it was just whoosh dangling down through there in my front room. It's just like, holy shit, man, how'd that get up there? And so, got my little brush and took care of that real fast. But yeah, spider webs are awesome during this time. Yes, the 100% cotton webs that get in everything and don't ever come out. Yes. People throw them in their bushes outside and put big spiders outside and stuff like that. He's in an Airbnb and the spiders are coming in. Hey, they got to get warm too. Just make sure they're not the black widows, which I have a garden of black widows out in the backyard. Literally, I seriously do. Um, the brown recluse, you don't want those. You know, bugs don't stand a chance in my house. Well, that's a good thing. Two brown recluse, yeah, those suck. You want to smash them, you know. And that's good that bugs don't stand a chance in your house. They usually don't stand a chance in my house because we found a house gecko in ours just the other day, so it's pretty cool. So he's been eating a little healthily, you know, on some buggages. Females both times. Well, that sucks. We were getting some free metal and some free wood from a friend of ours' grandfather's house. Uh, well, you got to keep some of the good ones. You know, you can't be killing all the spiders. There's some good spiders out there that help you keep all your buggages down. You know, and but we had some huge brown recluse. They were about this big around with their leg span. You know, I mean they were huge. So yeah, I keep a lot of good ones around. We usually have an orb weaver out here, those yellow and black banana looking spiders. We've got those. We got tons of different orb weavers around here. A lot of outdoor spiders, of course. We've got some indoor spiders that, if you know, like wolf spiders and things like that, we'll throw back outside. But if it comes to a brown recluse, you know, and I get that, but you know, we rescue stuff around. Yeah, you know, that's why we've got three porch possums. You know, we got a couple of raccoons. Um, of course, we've got our rescue dog. We've got a rescue kitten that we're rehabbing right now. Let's see what else we got. I love the fly spider with the red dot black. They're friendly, feeding them. Yes, yes, yes. And you've got a mock black widow too. It's got a red on the back side instead of underneath the hourglass shell. It's got a red stripe down the back abdomen section, and it's pretty cool. So yeah, like I said, I've got black widow garden out in my backyard, under the rocks and things like that. We just used to rehome them, you know, to different spots of the yard so that they wouldn't get destroyed. You know, as most people aren't. Just like people with snakes. Any type of snakes, any kind of any good snake's a dead snake. You know, it's just like no, you got a lot of great snakes out there that help the environment. You know, keep your rodent problem down, keep your this down, keep that down. You know, but yes, all the spiders are perfect for Halloween. You know, we've also thought about doing some kind of a little maze. You know, out in the backyard, or you know, from the driveway to the back and all that stuff, you know, for Halloween as well. We just haven't done anything for it yet, but I think that would be kind of cool to do. Uh, have it all up in the front, you know, open air top, of course, unless it's raining, and then you want to put a cover on it, those type things. So, but yeah, no, it's all fine and dandy when it comes to it. But no, the spooky season is here. Horror movies abound 24/7 at my house for the most part. Um, let's see, we had a family night. We watched Weapons again. Still as strange as it was the first time I watched it at the theaters. My wife and kids make me so. Sometimes that you have to save them, you know, and and that's part of being a team when it comes to a husband and wife team. You know, you got to take out some things, you know, just for them, and I had to do that many times when it came to snakes or spiders in the house, and that ended up getting in the house somehow. Now, if it's a wolf spider or something like that, it's going outside. I'll find a container, you know, and toss it back outside. Um, but when it came to like the brown recluse or the black widows back in the day, you know, they didn't stand a chance inside. A snake, you know, depending on the kind, you know, we would either usher it back outside after catching it, or it would die. You know, that was back then. That was back in the 90s through the early 2000s. You know, so well, thank you, Rox. This is my design, the crow. This is based off of my artwork. So if you want one, hit me up in DMs. We can get you hooked up with one. They're not expensive at all. $20 for small through extra large, and then $30 for 2X up to 5X. So hit me up in the DMs, and we can get you one of them. I have other shirts available as well, and we can do a quick rundown of that if you want. I try to tell them moths are the same as butterflies. Well, yeah, yeah, but they're like, no, it's a moth. Get it out of here. Kill it. Kill it. Kill it. I get it. Moths do like to eat up things, whereas butterflies just land on you and you know lap up your sweat if you're outside sweating and all that good stuff. So, because we've got a Terrifier shirt, you know, Art the Clown, just like this little piece right here for Halloween. This would be great for anybody that's a Halloween lover. Right there, Art the Clown on an actual saw blade. Right here, it's a display piece. You know, it's a two-piece actual saw blade painted on art. The art of art, right there, is what that says. He wrote it in his bloody fingerprints. And then you throw, you know, whatever you want. You can throw your crystals on here. You can throw your extra mics on here. You know, those type things. Or, I want to play a game. Lately, you all have been talking about spooky season, but you haven't included me yet. I want to play a game still. With Billy the Puppet from Saw on a saw blade. So, there you go. You can get those as well. And, but we do have a rundown of shirts that we'll go through real fast. Rocks right here. This is the most popular shirt out there right now. This one has been ordered the most. This is my second Joker painting that I did. Right here, right here. It's again been my number one seller here lately. This is the first Joker painting that I did. And I sold this one right off the bat, the actual artwork. Then we've got my last Ronin Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles right here. Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park. I'm going to do a Ozzy Osbourne piece as well. The Prince of Darkness. Ivan Moody of Five Finger Death Punch. This was actually a painting for the girlfriend's mother, and she proudly wears this shirt now that she's got one. Then you've got my American Horror, based off of the American Gothic painting from the 1930s. The old oil painting with the old guy and his younger now bride. But here you have Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein with Frankenstein's castle in the background. Then we've got Howard the Duck, based off of Jack Kirby by Stan Lee back in the day. This is the angry duck that encompassed the comic books and not the CGI version that you see in the MCU. Then you've got Dexter right here. Bum, bum, bum. And then we've got Terrifier or Art the Clown right here. Bum, 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 bum. And then we've got the shirt that you see now. I do have this one in yellow as well because the highlights look really cool on the yellow shirt too. And I have this in yellow and black, but you can get it on whatever color shirt you want or like. Then we've got another fan favorite, which is the Wonder Woman right here. Another shirt of this is getting ready to get ordered. Bum, bum, bum. And then another quickly becoming fan favorite is the Naughty Nun Bad Habit series right here, right there. I have one of these in red. The shirt is red. It looks really killer right there. So there you go. Those are some of the shirts I have right now. I'm about to add 16 more from my artwork based off of the artwork that I have done over the years and here recently. So be on the lookout for that. I've got 2 shirts that will be going out in the mail tomorrow of the American Horror shirt with the Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein that have been autographed. And I will autograph the shirt if you request an autograph on the shirt. So there you go. That's just some of the shirts I have available right now. And any of those shirts that you see also has an 11 by 17 cardboard print, or not a cardboard, but a card stock print, and then a 16 by 20 canvas available as well. So there you go. There's my little plug of my artwork for 412 Productions, The Art of Monty Anderson, which is on each and every shirt right there in the corner, right there. Bum, bum, bum. So everybody knows where the shirt came from. Any Stitch shirts? I do not have any Stitch. I only have one Stitch piece of artwork that I have done in my lifetime, and that was for a friend of mine. It was a Stitch wearing a hockey jersey for the team that he liked, and I can't remember what the team was right off the top of my back. It's got a thunderbolt going down, a lightning strike going down the front of the shirt. I can't remember which team that is right off the top of my head. But I can do you a Stitch if you want. You know, I can do you a piece of artwork, and we can talk about that too. I don't think my prices are too out there. Some people do, but you know, we can talk. I have different sizes to meet different people's needs and wants. But you know, if we do decide to do something, I can put it on a shirt as well. You know, and we can go from there. So just hit me up, Rocks, and let me know what you're looking for 100%. Um, because I can accommodate. I'm working on, you know, some amalgam pieces right now. This is the one that I'm inking up right now. This is God of War characters from the video game series. You've got a Drekkie and a Wolver that has been amalgamized into one creature. You know, so you've got the body and aspects of the Wolver with the scale and hardness of the Drekkie, the little alligator-looking creature that he fights in there. And nice. I was just wondering. Love your drawings. Well, much appreciated. I appreciate that. And if you go back into my page, on my actual page here on TikTok, on the TikTok, you can see more of my artwork out there as well. But again, we can talk, you know, and go from there. And that way, we can get you something that you really want, you know, as well. And I'm in the process of deciding what all I'm actually going to be making when it comes to more shirts. Because, like I said, I've got 16 or 17 more designs that I'm getting ready to roll out that I haven't got put on the shirt yet. But I will. Help amalgamize is to take pieces and put together correct. Yes, you take different. Say I took Lion-O and Robin and amalgamize them together. You know, it would create one character, just like Marvel and DC did with the amalgam universe. They took Batman and Wolverine and called him Darkclaw. It was a very awesome character, very well drawn by Jim Ballant. it was an awesome series in that series. Now there was some other ones that I didn't like that they had, and don't ask me the rest of the names because Dark Claw is the only one I really cared about and the only one I ever bought. Um, bought the series that it had, um, or the standalones. I'm trying to remember how they did it. It was either single issues or because they had a whole bunch of amalgams at that time frame. But Dark Claw was the only one for me because it encompassed two of my favorite characters, Batman and Wolverine. Enough said. As Stan Lee would say, enough said. And and so that was the bottom line for me. I didn't care about any of the other ones that was going on because they had a Superman mashup, an amalgam, Wonder Woman amalgam. Uh, I think Flash. I'm trying to remember all the ones that they had. They had 10 different titles, I think, that were amalgams. It's almost 4 a.m. here. It's almost 6 o'clock here. 6 a.m. I've been up since 1:30, I think it was. That's when I woke up this morning. 1:30 a.m. Yes, amalgamated meat world. But rocks, we'll talk. No worries there. I don't know what part of the world you're in that you're that far behind. Well, you're about an hour behind. Well, you're about an hour and a half behind because it's 5:32 a.m. here, and you're saying it's almost 4 a.m. there. So you're living in the past. We're in the future. You're in Oregon. Okay. The Oregon Trail. Did a lot of belt buckles for the Oregon Trail and stuff like that. Back in the 90s, up until 2001, when I worked for Award Design Metals, did a lot of stuff like that. Australia is in tomorrow. So, see, they're even farther in the future than we are. And so, there you go. Just like when I was in Afghanistan, that was, I was a whole world away at that point in time. It was morning time where I was, and the wife was going to bed, So, that was quite fun. Not. And then the shoddy internet service that they had over there at the time that you paid an astronomical amount for. You have a good night too, Rox, and thank you for stopping in on the show and checking out the work and loving the artwork. I appreciate that very much. Uh, but yeah, but enjoy the spooky season if we don't talk again, but I'm sure we will. So, like I said, I will hit you up in DMs. Probably not here right away, but I will hit you up in DMs to see what you want or if you want to get anything. But you have a great night and get some good rest. And don't let the ghost bump you in the night. So, like they do around here every now and again. Like I said, we've had everything. We've got orbs, we've got poltergeist activity, we've got which is things moving around on their own, things being thrown across the room. We get full body apparitions. We got spirit people. We got mist. We've got um, no demon activity. Uh, we've also got what else do we got? Oh, touching. We've been touched. So had my shirt pulled on many occasions when I'm in a room by myself in the middle of a room, and nothing around you to pull your shirt, and all of a sudden you get a like that, and it's just like, what the witches and warlocks this year will be active. Know what I mean? Lots of battles. Yes, tons of stuff. I'm seeing it more and more, especially on TikTok and Reels and things like that. Um, and and yes, it is all coming to a head. All that good stuff. And and it is what it is. I mean, everybody thought the rapture was going to happen on what, the 23rd, something like that, and it didn't happen. because what does the book say? It says no one knows the time nor the hour that it's going to happen. And but yet here people are still, oh, it's going to happen at this day at this time, you know, so on and so forth. Just like, you're an idiot. Thank you for playing. Thank you for selling off everything. you know, um, the sad ones that I saw was a woman gave up custody of her kids to um, CPS, Child Protective Services, because the rapture was coming. And I'm thinking, wouldn't the kids go first? They're the innocent ones. But yet you just gave them to CPS, and now you're probably not going to get them back. You know, I'm into the Christmas time than Halloween. Now I get that, Rocks, as a lot of people are. A lot of people like that Christmas time. Um, yes, date setting never works out good for anybody, and yes, it was completely insane. And I like most holidays. I just don't like how commercialized that everybody turns it into. You know, Christmas time is all about the gift giving and who can outdo who, and all of the, you got to get your kids all this new stuff for Christmas. Why? Why? I mean, yeah, it is what it is with all that, and Halloween is kind of the same thing, and but there's no. I mean, there is gift giving during Christmas or Thanksgiving, Halloween time, with Thanksgiving coming up right after Halloween. Um, and a lot of people have their issues with Thanksgiving, as well. So, okay, go get some sleep, Rocks, and like I said, we will talk. Just put your phone in silent mode, and I'll send you a message here in a little while. So, but I get it. People love the holidays that they love, and everybody gears up for Halloween. It seems like, especially on most of the people that I follow, they gear up for Halloween more than they do for Christmas or things of that nature. Now, some people just keep their Christmas stuff up year round. If my mother had her way, she would never take it down. You know, she bypasses Halloween for the most part. She just tolerated it because we were kids and we loved to trick or treat. All that good stuff. So, but there you go. But I am going to kill it for today, folks. I do appreciate each and everybody being here. Yes, capitalizing on all of it every day. That's why Christmas and Halloween have already started. As of last month, the beginning of or the end of last month and all of September into October, and then of course November and December with Thanksgiving being the forgotten holiday in there. But again, a lot of people have their issues with Thanksgiving as well, and I get it. We're not going there, but I get it. So, but I am killing it for today. Got animals to take care of. It is about that time. So, but you all have a great day. And as I like to say as I leave you, during the spooky season. But I do it all the time, not just during spooky season. Stay safe and stay aware, of course, all the time. Usually a time that I'm not packing. We will catch you on the flip side. Have a good day, everybody.